What's going on, guys? CWG here. Welcome to a brand new Gregtech New Horizons video. In the previous video, we built all the different steam multi-blocks, and these guys are looking pretty cool, aren't they? And in today's video, we're going to be attempting to build the electric blast furnace. This will really allow us to advance in technology, and it's the staple multi-block inside of Gregtech. And then after we build that, we should be able to make our way to the circuit assembler, which will make crafting circuits way cheaper, which will be nice, because I'm still crafting them by hand right now, which sucks. But in order to do that, we're going to have to do some stuffs and things first. First of all, let me give you guys an update of what I've been doing in between episodes. We made a few more machines over here. We got a fluid extractor to suck juices out of items. We got an electrolyzer to zap items into their components. We got an extruder to make different parts. For example, we used the extruder to make a carbon crossbow limb in order to upgrade our crossbow. This like cuts our draw speed in half. Look how fast we can fire these things now. Oh yeah, that's really good. We were able to get carbon by washing some of our graphite ore that we get from the diamond veins. Check it out, carbon. Anyways, I also made the mixer because, you know, our big fat multi-block mixer over here can't do fluid recipes, and I need to do fluid recipes, so I gotta make the mixer anyway. I literally haven't used this multi-block mixer once yet. I even had to put a torch in here because mobs were spawning inside the mixer. There was literally a creeper in this mixer earlier. Thank God I noticed it before it came and blew up all the machines. That would have been bad. And check out what I've been doing on the second floor. Oh yeah, look at all these coke ovens. I was planning on making 16 coke ovens over here, but then I realized there was a quest that wanted us to make 19 coke ovens. So I'm like, well, might as well make 19 to satisfy the quest. And we have all the different coke ovens here, and they're all automated. The way it works is pretty simple. You put wood inside of this barrel, and then charcoal comes out of this barrel. That's because if we take a peek under the ground here, we have a conveyor module, which is sucking out the wood and passing it along these tin item pipes. See, this is why you always leave gaps in between your floor and your ceiling, so that way you can route cables underground to hide all the pipe spaghetti. Base building tricks 101. So the wood gets sucked out with the conveyor, and then you can see these tin item pipes then connect to each coke oven and is filling them all with logs. Then underneath the coke ovens, we have hoppers, which are sucking the charcoal out and then pointing back into the tin item pipe. And because these barrels are locked, the only place the charcoal can possibly go is into this barrel. And you can see our charcoal numbers going up. We're almost at 1,000 charcoal. And we're just gonna store the charcoal for now. I have a plan for it later. We could also use it to smelt steel in our brick blast furnace. Now these coke ovens will also produce creosote oil, which if we take a look here, this guy's about to finish. See, it gets poured into these wooden fluid pipes using a seared faucet. And you have to tick these guys with a redstone signal so they actually work. So we have these redstone clocks in between the coke ovens over here. Oh yeah, all this is really compact. And then all the creosote oil gets piped under the floor and then up into our iron tank of doom, which is filling up with some delicious creosote. Oh yeah, these freaking redstone clocks are super annoying to make. First of all, you need a bunch of red alloy and wood gears, whatever. But then you need the clock, which is like you need gold rings, plates, bolts, screws. Luckily, you can do it a little bit cheaper inside of the assembler, but you also need a comparator, which is also a pain because you need pressure plates, nether quartz plates, redstone torches, iron screws. I mean, they're not like super expensive. It's just a pain to craft, but we made them, so we're good now. So the basics is you put the wood inside the barrel and then you get charcoal and creosote out. Very simple. Now, something I will say, using a hopper into these item pipes will like cause them to kind of get stuck in the pipe for a while, which blocks the wood from coming back into it. It'll eventually like figure itself out over time, but it's definitely not ideal. To solve this, I'm eventually gonna swap the Gregtech tin item pipes to the extra utility transfer pipes. The only thing is like it costs 2 steel plates just for 1 pipe. So I'm gonna wait till I have a lot more steel that eventually like replace these guys. Anyways, what are we doing with our giant tank of creosote? Well, we can burn it inside a max-sized Railcraft liquid boiler. Look at this thing. Now I have it off right now because we have plenty of steam. As you can see, our steam tank is currently full. But if we ever need a ton of steam and our solar boilers over here can't keep up, we can open up the trap door here and we can connect our creosote pipe, which is right under the floor, and it will fill up this boiler with creosote oil and fire it up. Now this guy takes a while to heat up because it's such a big freaking liquid boiler, but once it hits 100°C, it produces steam like no other. So yeah, we're getting tons of charcoal, tons of creosote, and we can make a ton of steam on demand when we need it. This way we could run our electric blast furnace all the time and not worrying about running out of steam, because this thing is a beast. Alright, so first things first, we need to ramp up our steel production. Also, doesn't that kind of look like a face? Look at that guy, he's so cute. Yeah, I just put a couple stacks of blocks of charcoal here, now that we get so much charcoal from our coke ovens. So once we run out of coal coke, we're going to be switching to charcoal. Now, it will make the recipe take longer, which kind of sucks, but charcoal's basically like infinite now. We just have to provide wood to those barrels, which eventually we're gonna have to automate the wood process. You can see I planted a whole bunch of spruce trees that we could just chop down with our lumber axe when we need more logs. So what I want to do is, since our steel production is going to slow down and we're going to need a ton of steel to make the EBF, electric blast furnace, we're going to turn this guy into a quad brick blast furnace. I know, we've been surviving off the single guy for so long, it's time to ramp up the production. So I've done some math and I think I'm going to need 1 stack of these fire bricks. And if you look at the left side of our screen here, I did some magic to determine what materials we need to make a stack of fire bricks. You see, we're going to need 384 compressed fire clay, which means we're going to need 192 brick dust and clay dust. We're also going to need all these different dusts like calcite and stone in order to make the wet concrete. You may be like, C-dubs, how are you able to do that? Alright, I'm only going to show you this once, so pay attention. So what you could do is find a recipe that's kind of complicated, like fire bricks. We're going to be using the assembler with concrete. So pick the recipe that you want, hold shift. You can use your scroll wheel to flip between like the different type of dusts. We want to use gypsum dust. And then what you're going to do is hold control shift and press A. It will move the recipe over to the left hand of the screen. Pretty cool. And then what you could do is go down the chain, like fire bricks. That's made by smelting down compressed fire clay, so Control Shift A. This is made by compressing, so Control Shift A. This is made by mixing different dust, so Control Shift A. Then once you've gone all the way down the chain as far as you want to do, all you got to do is hold down left click and you can combine all the different recipes, and then right click to activate it, and then you can do Control Shift scroll wheel to change the amount of items, and it will go all the way down the chain and tell you how much you need. Say you want like, I don't know, 200 fire bricks, boom, there you go. It tells you everything you need. Now make sure you bookmark this episode because I'm only going to explain that once. But yeah, only in Gregtech New Horizons is this a freaking feature. This is awesome. So I'm going to go gather all the materials we're going to need for this guy. And instead of going and shoveling like a kajillion clay like we did last time, I made ourselves a nature compass in which we were able to search up a mesa biome. And if we look at our map here, I went on a 3,000 block journey and we found a mesa all the way down there. And why did I go to the mesa biome? So that way we could get like 31 stacks of hardened clay. And hardened clay, you could put in the macerator and get 1 clay dust. Yeah, that's super good. So we could just throw it all in the steam grinder and get all the clay dust we need. So yeah, it's pretty lucky if you spawn next to a biome that contains hardened clay. We didn't really get lucky. We had to go very far out. So I'm gonna gather all the stuffs and things for this, and we'll be back. And there we go. We should have our 1 stack of fire bricks. Let's go. I also made 12 iron ferni, so that way we can make 3 more of the brick blast furnace blocks. Boom. And we get an achievement for that, 2x steel. And there's also an achievement for getting 4x steel, which we've already finished. We just have to get 4 stacks of steel. That'll take a bit. Anyways, I'm hoping I did my math right here, and I made enough of this stuff. Also, I made this multi-block structure hologram projector, which is supposed to be able to build multi-blocks for you. I didn't realize it was this cheap. It's just some lapis paper and bone meal. So let's see if we can use this thing. So if we put down a bricked blast furnace here so it wall shares with this one, I think you right click, it shows you where to place the blocks, which is pretty cool. And if you shift right click, yeah, it just builds it for you. Okay, that's really cool. I had no idea this thing was available so early, so we could just do that. Boom. And then we can make the final one like so. There we go. Quad BBF. We can quadruple our steel production now and use all these charcoal blocks that we've been getting. So we can grab all of our delicious charcoal here and we can compress it down inside of our steam squancher. And then we can load these guys up with iron and we're ready to go. This is awesome. Look at that. Quad BBFs are running. Now we could also make steel inside of our electric blast furnace, but these guys don't require any power to run. The only downside is you can't automate them. You have to put everything in by hand. You can't like put a hopper on them. But since it takes an hour to make 10 steel, you know, it's not that big of a deal to hand feed these guys. All right, guys, a bit of a status update. I've made a few more machines. We got a polarizer, which can magnetize rods. We got a canning machine over here, which can put items into cells, which are used in some recipes. We got a fluid solidifier, so we can make rotors easier. All we have to do is put 17 ingots of tin into this fluid extractor and then use auto output and it will generate us 4 rotors. So we don't have to do this annoying recipe anymore. We can just cast the tin rotors directly. You'll love to see it. And we also made an arc furnace. That way we can make annealed copper. Simply throw a copper ingot with some oxygen in there and it will anneal the copper. Whoa, it's a nice shiny orange ingot. I don't know why, but I just want to like take a bite out of that. And the annealed copper gives us a better vacuum tube recipe and a better resistor recipe. And I think a few others. Basically, you get 8 instead of 4, so that's going to make making circuits a lot better. You can also use oxygen and iron to make wrought iron, so we don't have to smelt nuggets anymore. That's pretty huge. I also built an iron tank and put a XP drain on it so we can drain our levels and it gets collected in this tank and we can get it back later if we need to. We had like 45 levels and I realized we haven't even died yet on this server, knock on wood. But I figured might as well drain our levels in case the worst happens. But anyways, it's a quick side quest time. We're gonna get into some basic Botania. Yes, we haven't done Botania since Vault Hunters 1.16 version. So it's time to get into some Gregified Botania. And of course, you guys know to get started in Botania, you need the Petal Apothecary. And of course, all these recipes are Gregified. So it requires a block of silver and some steel, but we have that stuff now, and we need either a petal or a white mushroom. Now, of course, GTNH has to be difficult. You cannot find the mystical flowers around the world. Instead, you have to go to the Twilight dimension, and you have to search underground caves that are full of mobs and look for these mushrooms. And what sucks about the mushrooms is you can't duplicate them like you can the normal flower petals. Yeah, Botania has like a progression system where you have to go foraging for mushrooms and eventually you'll get a flower that can generate more flowers. Yeah, this jaded amaranthus. But this is decently far down the Botania tree. So for now, we're gonna have to farm mushrooms. But if you go to the coins, every 20 minutes we could use some gardener coins to buy a mushroom color of our choosing. So I think we're gonna be surviving off that for a bit for the early game Botania. So the first thing we need to do is make a pure daisy. This is your bread and butter of Botania. It generates your living rock and living wood that's used in everything. And luckily, I made our petal apothecary, see, right next to our water supply. And I'm pretty sure all we gotta do is throw in 3 white tulips, 1 white mushroom. Oh, I forgot. I also made a magnet. You just have to magnetize some steel in the polarizer with a lithium battery, which we have lithium now, so it wasn't too bad to make, but we gotta turn that off for this. All right, so 3 tulips, 1 mushroom, and a seed. And we get a pure daisy. Amazing. But we'll want a few of these, so we might as well make 4 for now. Gotta love Botania flower crafting. Oh yeah, exciting gameplay. Well, I guess we could set this up underneath the balcony. I mean, what better place than that? Also, I haven't even explained why we're getting into Botania. We want mana steel. Mana Steel can make really good early game tools. I mean, look at the durability on these things. Wild. So I figured we might as well get into it as early as possible and not put it off for later. Then we'll work on the EBF after that. Because I've gone through so many steel wrenches, like we're just wasting steel. Might as well turn it into Mana Steel, right? All you gotta do is put wood and stone around these flowers. It's really basic redstone with Botania. And then you like, wait a minute, and it'll convert into living wood and living rock. Everyone knows this stuff. Whoa, it's converting. It's so magical. Now this living wood and living rock is going to be used in basically all the Botania crafting recipes. Well, first things first, we need a mana spreader, but apparently we don't have that unlocked yet because we need to make a cutting machine first. Ah, that's right, we need living rock slabs. But you could make that with a handsaw. Whatever, I'll make the cutting machine because I want to unlock the quests properly. To make the cutting machine, we're going to need some cobalt brass. Now we do have some raw cobaltine ore. Are we able to get cobalt out of this? Ah yes, if we wash it, we could get some cobalt dust. Good thing we built that giant steam ore washer, huh? Let's grind this stuff down. Wash it down. Alright, we got a cobalt dust. Sick. Also, what's weird, I can always tell it's nighttime because this iron tank will like start turning dark. Do you see that? That's how I know it's time for bed. And look, when you wake up, the tank's bright again. Super interesting. It's like our own personal tank clock. Anyways, let's combine the power of all these dusts together. We get cobalt brass. And please tell me you can just smelt this stuff. You can, good. Ah, we need to make a cobalt brass gear. Nothing that our alloy smelter can't handle. There we go, cobalt brass gear. Now we just have to use some diamond dust to surround it and we get a diamond saw blade. Pretty sick. Then finally, we can make the basic cutting machine. I just need to get all the other stuffs and things first. Just give me a moment. And there we go. Basic cutting machine. Look, we made another machine together, guys. This was like a side quest for our side quest. And now we can cut the living rock with some water because I don't have any lubricant yet. What does it need? Circuit 1? Boom, there it goes. Amazing. What do we get in our loot bag? A bunch of junk. That's okay. And we get living rock slabs. Wow. And then we need living rock plates, which means we have to cut it on circuit 3. So we got to cut it in multiple ways. Okay, I guess that's why we need the cutting machine then, because yeah, we can't use the saw. Very well then. We're going to have to make some lubricant because the water recipe adds so much time. But we need a distillery in order to get lubricant, and that would be yet another machine. There's so many machines. Finally, we get the living rock plates. That took a minute and a half. And we can make ourselves a diluted mana pool. Now what's funny is in the modern versions of Botania, they got rid of this diluted mana pool. You just go like straight to a normal mana pool. So it's interesting seeing this thing again. I guess we'll set it up over here. Now we need a way to get mana. And I'm sure the quest book will take us here. Yep, we gotta make a couple mana spreaders and a wand of the forest. This is just some living wood slabs, a gold ring, and some mushroom. That's not too bad. And the wand can be any 2 petal colors. Cool. I'll get the stuff we need. I'll be back in a sec. Alright, so we should be able to make 2 mana spreaders now. Boom. And a wand of the forest, which is like the wrench, but for Botania. I think we'll do yellow and cyan. It'll actually match the colors that you put in there. Yeah, I like yellow at the tip. Let's do that. So now we have a way to move mana, but now we need a way to generate mana. Right now, we only have 2 choices, the day bloom or the nightshade. This makes mana during the day, this makes mana during the night, but they're both temporary. They will die. Their only purpose is to give us mana powder so we can make one of the better flowers. So I think we'll go with the day bloom for obvious reasons. We need yellow, yellow, orange, light blue. And I think we have that. Yellow, yellow, orange, light blue. Oh my gosh, I'm prepared. So let's do a little bit of Botania magic here. Oh, I forgot. We also need a goldenrod. Oh no. I sure hope we have a goldenrod. Although, yeah, I don't think we do. I remember finding those when I was exploring. They spawn in the prairie biome. I thought, whoa, that's some cool looking flowers. Never thought to gather any. Silly me. Gather everything in GTNH. Maybe there's a closer prairie biome. Alright, horse, it's time for adventure. It found one. 1,000 blocks north. Well, I'm head north then with our horse in the journey to find the goldenrod. Oh, I see it, guys. The prairie biome. And look at this. The frickin' goldenrods, they spawn everywhere. Look at all these guys. I'm gonna collect them all. Alright, we're back at base, and I decided to name the horse Goldenrod. I think it's a fitting name for finding us this legendary goldenrod. But now we should finally be able to make this freaking day bloom. Why is Botania so hard in GTNH? Yes, we got it! Now I'm assuming that the day bloom probably needs access to sunlight. So first of all, let's set up our mana spreader here. We can use the wand of the forest to link it to the mana pool. Amazing! Then you just gotta plant the day bloom next to it, like right here. And it should automatically connect to the closest one. Yep, you see the little check mark? Now these things produce mana very slowly. It's very slowly gonna fill this up. You can't even tell it's doing anything, but I'm pretty sure it is. Oh, and the quest book gives us another day bloom. Let's go, so we can plant 2 of these. And now it'll be a little bit less slow, hopefully. And in order to make an endoflame, which generates mana by consuming fuel, this is like the easiest one to automate. We're gonna need 4 brown, red, light gray, and mana powder that we get by putting a redstone or a gunpowder or some other dust into the mana pool once we have enough mana. And a burning blossom. Crap, do we have that yet? Don't you get that from the nether? I'm pretty sure you find that in the nether. I guess we haven't gotten that yet. So while these guys are generating us mana, let's go take a dip into the nether real quick. See if we can catch ourselves a burning blossom. Oh, I think I see some up there. Now hopefully, oh, nope, the pigmen are mad at us. We're gonna have to be fast. Whoa! It's like Vault Hunters, just run from the mobs. Alright, I'll take a few burning blossoms, which will catch us on fire. Ow. And then we go on a run for it to get back. Why is the nether so dangerous? Hey, looks like we have enough mana for a mana powder. We got the check mark. Let's go. Now we do bucket of water, burning blossom, 1 red, 2 brown. Oh, I forgot the light gray. Oh wait, it's in my inventory. I didn't forget it. I'm going crazy. Throw that in there. Throw in the mana powder. Throw in a seed. And we got our first endoflame. Let's go. All we gotta do is feed this guy some charcoal or any burnable fuel. And we got a ton of that stuff. And this guy will produce way more mana than these silly little day blooms. Eat that charcoal. Let's go. Now you can see it squirting some mana. Now we're talking. So I'm probably going to make 4 of these guys, and then I'm going to set up some basic automation, and I'll be back when I'm done. Alright guys, so it's going to take a little bit to get more mushrooms, to get more endoflames, but I set up the basic automation. Pressure plate detects charcoal, sends redstone signal up to hopper, which contains charcoal, and that feeds into an open crate from Botania, which just drops items straight down as soon as it gets it. Oh, yep, there it goes. See? Like I said, this is like the easiest farm to automate, and we can just like load this up with charcoal. Now, I wonder how much mana you actually need for a mana steal. Oh, interesting. If you throw in thaumium, you actually get a mana discount. Well, I don't feel like getting into Thaumcraft yet, so I think we'll just do the steal method and some patience. Because mana is basically free now, we just need time. Time in order to convert charcoal into magic flower juice. But check it out, it does look like we have enough mana to make a mana steal. Yes! Our very first mana steal, which is way more powerful in GTNH than in other mod packs. The quest wants us to get 16 of this stuff. That's gonna take a bit. But with this mana steal, we can get into power tools. We can make the power wrench and the power screwdriver. There's a quest for it. And it requires a bunch of steel and lithium batteries, but we can make that now. And if we use mana steel, it's gonna give us like a butt ton of durability. So I'm gonna craft some power tools and we'll be right back. And by the light of the blood moon, it's finally time to make some power tools. All right, first we need the mana steel wrench tip, which just means we need a steel ring and 4 mana steel plates, and boom, we got the wrench tip. And then we can craft ourselves a power wrench. Let's go. And we could also make the power screwdriver. Incredible. Now we just have to drop these bad boys off inside of our charge slot and they will slowly start charging. Now the way these tools work is every time you like mine something, it will use some charge and it will also use a little bit of durability. And I think these mana steel ones are gonna last a hot minute. And it is getting very red. I wonder if we can actually see the blood moon. Oh yeah, look at that. That's definitely a blood moon. Why does it happen so often in this world? Who knows? So the screwdriver is used for a whole bunch of things. It's used for crafting. You can also right click a machine and then it will input from output side. Pretty neat. And you guys all know what the wrench is for. Let's see how fast it is. Let's mine some of these pipes. Oh yeah, that's fast. Hey, every man likes himself some power tools. I guess the 1% of my viewers who are female wouldn't understand. Or maybe you guys like power tools too. Let me know in the comments. So yeah, we got basic Botania automation. You'll love to see it. Now sadly, we can't really get much farther than this. In order to upgrade our mana pool, we're gonna have to get some basic Thaumcraft. And we can't even make our first wand until we get aluminum. So things will just chill like this for a bit. Actually, there's one more thing we should do. We just gotta make ourselves some mana glass here. And we can make a mana distributor. Whoa. And this guy will allow us to put a mana pool on each side here, and it'll distribute to 4 different pools. So let me make some more mana pools. All right, so we should be able to surround this guy with mana pools, and yep, it will distribute them evenly to all 4 of them. And this quadruples our mana capacity. We can get all the mana steel now. Also, fun fact for you guys, the mana steel butchery knife comes with looting 3. Now you can get looting without worrying about the cows exploding. Yeah, look at that. We got 27 leather from 1 harvest. Not bad. All right, guys, it's finally time to start building that EBF, the electric blast furnace, the staple of Gregtech. So in order to make it, we're going to need a lot of different components, including a lot of heat-proof machine casings. That's all Invar, which is an alloy of nickel and iron. Luckily, I went ahead and made a bunch of Invar and a bunch of cupro nickel. Why do we need cupro nickel? Because we need 128 cupro nickel wires, which I've already started processing in our wire mill, so that is in progress. We're also going to need the machine controller, which is just some iron ferni and circuits. We can do that. We need input buses, output buses, hatches. This is just like a bunch of machine holes and chests and super glue and tools and muffler hatch. It's basically just a bunch of steel. And then we need 2 low voltage energy hatches, which is going to take lubricant. Lubricant you get from distilling creosote oil, and yes, I did finally make a distillery, so we made some lubricant, so we have that now. And the final thing we're gonna need for the copper nickel coils is molten tin, which we can do, and mica. Now, like I said before, we were actually lucky enough to find a mica vein really early on, so I went ahead and processed a whole bunch of it, and now we get to go down the mica chain. So we need mica insulator foil. For that, we need mica insulator sheets in the bending machine. And for that, we're going to need to alloy mica and quartzite. Quartzite's found in the nether, so I got to go mining in the nether. And for the mica-based sheets, you need a forming press. Oh, I haven't even made this machine yet. Great. In which we have to combine mica-based pulp with asbestos. I think we have some asbestos, so we're good on that. But to get the mica-based pulp, you have to mix mica with either sticky resin or raw rubber dust. And we've gotten a ton of raw rubber dust from our centrifuge, so we're gonna use that, which means we can finally use our big boy steam blender. So we have to use circuit 2, so I have a programmable circuit in the bottom right slot, and we should just be able to slap in all this stuff and it will start mixing. Oh, look at it go! It's mixing! This is the first time we've ever used this thing. Finally, a non-fluid mixing recipe. I wish it was able to have some sort of stirring animation. That'd be pretty cool. I think that'd be too complicated to code though. Oh, there we go. Mica-based pulp. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a forming press, go down the mica line, make all these different freaking multi-block components, and I'll be back when I got everything. Bada bing, bada boom. Alright guys, I finally grinded out all the things for the EBF. I also made us a little bit better armor. We're wearing diamond now, but diamond armor has to be made from diamond plates, which means you have to cut a diamond block. But now that we have the cutting machine, we were able to do that. I also made a composite vest, which is like an upgraded steel armor. Pretty neat. So I grinded out all the parts that we needed for this EBF. I mean, it took about an hour, but it's what the Greg demands. So with the floor here, I have 4 LV turbines. Yes, this thing will need 4 amps of LV power to run. And 4 amps of LV means it can run at MV because it's a 4-to-1 ratio. We just have to put our energy hatches on top of these wires and then point them down with the wrench. Basically, the way that the voltages scale in Gregtech is each tier costs 4 times as much power as the previous tier, but recipes will run twice as fast. So you just have to generate more and more energy every tier. It's what Greg is demanding from me. And by Greg, I mean Dream Master, the creator of this pack. He actually commented on the first episode. I guess he is also here to watch me suffer. Did you guys hear an explosion? That freaked me out. Sometimes things explode around here, and I don't like it. And there we go. Our EBF is formed. We just have to give it some maintenance. Oh, maintenance, maintenance, maintenance. That means we're gonna want a toolbox to hold all of our tools, which is, what? Bronze casings and a chest. Let me make that real quick. There we go. Toolbox got. Ooh, and we can claim some fine soldering wire. This will be useful. We could throw our soldering alloy inside of our toolbox here, but now we're gonna need an actual soldering iron. Oh, this is gonna require a battery. Bruh. Luckily, I bet you we could make this guy out of mana steel. Oh yeah, and it would have stupid durability. Oh, but that requires an MV battery. What? Can we even make those? Apparently we can, but we wouldn't be able to charge it. Oh, they just had the wrong tier inside of the quest book. I searched it up, and yeah, you can still use mana steel. It still has a stupid amount of durability. I'm so glad we went on our Botania side quest. Who would have thought Botania was so freaking good in GTNH? And I've actually managed to get 29 mana steel, so we're cooking. I mean, just 2 endo flames is keeping these 4 mana pools stocked up. And there we go, soldering iron. Now we could go ahead and charge this guy, and I have to remember the other tools that you have to put in here. Oh, it tells you at the bottom of this quest. Let me gather all those. Alright, I think I put all the proper tools in here, so we should just be able to right-click the maintenance hatch. And look at that, I think it's ready to go. Yes! What should we smelt first? Let's start by making some fast steel. First, we put a stack of iron through the arc furnace with some oxygen. And then we put in 6 wrought iron dust and feed this guy some oxygen. Here you go. And it ran out of power. I must have messed something up. Oh, the wires got disconnected when I placed down the hatches. Oh, silly C-dubs. Alright, we might have voided one recipe, but that's okay. Let's restart this thing. Oh my gosh, it's working! It's also very loud. Is this like a new noise? I don't feel like I've heard this before. Listen, guys. And whoa, just like that, we got 5 steel. Well, we would have got 6 if I would have powered it properly. But yeah, we got our freaking EBF, and I bet if I pick up the controller, yes, I get a little trophy. Remember the day, March 31st. Oh my gosh, it's almost April Fools? Is this gonna be an April Fools video? I guess so. Oh, we get 3 LV loot bags from this quest. Oh, and we get 3 LV loot bags from the soldering iron quest, too. You guys ready to open some loot bags? Let's go! Ooh, we get some aluminum gravel. Another golden lasso. I have like 4 golden lassos now. An apple pie. Delicious. Throw it in the lunchbox. We got all kinds of good foods for making thanks to our kitchen. And since we have such good nutrition now, we have like constant toughness, haste, strength, resistance, all the time. Pretty nice. We also got some copon seeds. These are one of those crops that you can use to duplicate your ores. I've been thinking about possibly getting into this playthrough. I haven't seen anyone else try this method. Could be fun. Could be fun. But enough dilly-dallying. The whole point of getting the electric blast furnace was so we could make our way to the circuit assembler. And one of the things we're gonna need is a gallium arsenide crystal, which is made by blasting some arsenic and some gallium. And this stuff is really hard to get in LV. We can get gallium by electrolyzing sphalerite dust with a 9% chance. We do have some sphalerite we can process down. As for arsenic, I think you have to get that from the nether from real gar dust. Please tell me we have some. Oh no, I don't see any. Where's the real gar? Alright, let's electrolyze some sphalerite dust and hope we get lucky. As for gallium, I have an idea. We managed to get some cobaltine ore from the nether. That's how we got our cobalt. But we can actually grind this ore down further. In fact, it would probably be quicker to use the hammer. Alright, so apparently all you gotta do is put a couple cobaltine dust inside of the EBF and blast it up. Ah, here we go. And then you get 2 roasted cobalt and 2 roasted arsenic dust. This sounds totally healthy. Now we put in the roasted arsenic with some carbon. Oh yeah. And we get 3 arsenic ingots. It's like magic. And we also get 3 cobalt. Now, please tell me that we got some gallium. Yes, we got 2 gallium. Then we just throw the gallium and the arsenic inside of the EBF. And we're making crystals. Nice. I wish the coils actually like glowed when this thing was running. I bet you there's like a texture pack or something for that. I don't know. You guys will have to let me know in the comments if there is one. And just like that, we got our gallium arsenide crystal. Finally. And we get to claim a piece of gallium for that. I'll take it. Now we just gotta grind this bad boy down and we get some gallium arsenide dust. And it's time to make diodes. And finally, by combining some copper wire, small pile of gallium arsenide with some freaking liquid glass, we can make some diodes. And we have to make 8 of them. And of course, the only way to get molten glass in LV is to extract quartzite dust into liquid glass, which takes forever. Once we get to medium voltage, we can just do straight sand, but for now, we must suffer. Also, while we're waiting on this quartzite to liquefy, which takes forever, we can go about making some aluminum. I mean, we have the blast furnace after all. Aluminum is gonna allow us to make a lot of cool things. All we gotta do is run it in our steam squancher and we get raw aluminum. Then we just throw it in our EBF on circuit 1. Look at it go! And while that aluminum's smelting, we finally got our diodes. Let's go. And finally, we can make it MV circuits. We're going into medium voltage. And each MV circuit requires 3 LV circuits when crafting by hand like this. So expensive, but we got them. Let's go. We get beer and wine for this. It's a true celebration. Let's go. And finally, we have the quest to make the circuit assembler. I just have to make a couple conveyor modules and a robot arm, which means more circuits. I'll be back in a sec. And finally, we got it. The circuit assembler. GG guys, we did it. Hours of crafting, EBFs making. We got the circuit assembler. Let's plop it down right here. So first we gotta give this guy some soldering alloy. You simply have to alloy tin with antimony. It's basic redstone, really. Then we can grab our soldering alloy and throw it into the fluid extractor. Aim it into the circuit assembler and auto eject. Now we have soldering alloy. Now all we have to do is put in circuit boards, resistors, vacuum tubes, red alloy wire, and it just makes circuits. Let's go. Also, let's go check out our aluminum. Our big steam tank is doing great. We got 15 aluminum. We're officially ready for medium voltage. And what loot bag do we get for that? A basic woodcutter from Steve's Carts. Big wow. Well, I think we put our work in for this episode. Next episode, I think we'll get into medium voltage. We're ready for the next electrical tier. CWG, ow.